Frankly speaking, today I was so surprised and actually disappointed on hearing Raila Odinga praise the Kisumu city manager, Abala Wanga, for undertaking demolition in Kisumu County.
Like I know the name that is on the lips of most people in town. One is Abala Wanga. I congratulate him. But
Raila apparently would be surrounding himself with the very wrong people when it comes to politics of probably Kisumu County, or even generally the Nyanza region. This actually costed Raila elections in 2023. I can tell you for sure, the margin between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto was so minimal. It was like we had predicted a photo finish. But because of the kind of politics that Raila took around the Nyanza region, William Samoei Ruto managed to edge Raila Odinga with 200,000 votes. The policies that I'm talking about are simple, like backing Anyang Nyongo, supporting Orengo, supporting Gladys Wanga. Those actually made a lot of people in Nyanza not vote for Raila Odinga. Don't make a mistake, Raila Odinga has his instincts right when it comes to national politics. Don't get me wrong about that. In fact, he is on tip-top condition in terms of politics of the nation, Kenya. But when it comes to politics of Nyanza, there's a big undercurrent that is really running underneath it all. And Raila Odinga has to really think twice and find out exactly the kind of people he surrounded himself with, who advise him on matters Nyanza politics. And generally, even Western, I can say that for sure. The issue of demolition is not something that Raila would want to run with and begin to congratulate Abala Wanga for demolishing things. You know, there's this disease of demolition. It's a big problem because you see, when you're actually demolishing something, you must have a plan to do something better. It's not just a question of demolition. As a matter of fact, if Raila himself listens to himself on the national platform, he will realize that he says the same thing nationally and then says the complete opposite thing locally. You see, I restrained myself from talking about Nyanza politics and generally the politics of Raila Odinga in Western and Nyanza for 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons. But right now, I can assure you, Raila is going against the tide. You see, there was even a time they wanted to demolish Kisumu boys, Kisumu girls. And by the way, Kisumu is a kind of a container city. You see, there's no meaningful business that is undertaken in the third largest city in Kenya, Kisumu, that would attract good jobs, good paying jobs, actually employ people who are leaving universities, colleges and everything. You know, the only probably business one can do in Kisumu is if you are transacting one way or another or employed with the Kisumu County government. There's nothing else that is happening. If you go to the main street, Oginga Odinga Street, you'll find infinite shops that are selling essentially phones, you know, from one end of the street to the other. Kisumu is a one-street town. You see, so this issue of demolition, Raila Odinga has to really listen to other people other than Anyang Nyongo and the people who are probably currently advising him. When you demolish and then build containers, who owns the land? Is this the underlying thing? You see, it's one thing to keep the city clean. There's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing. But it's another thing to develop and grow that city. And when you're growing the city, you're not growing the streets or washing the streets or keeping them clean. You are essentially improving the livelihoods of people living in those counties, especially, and I'm talking about Kisumu County. It's not just a question of demolishing and then put in containers. It's just replacing containers. Either, like I said, it's just containers. So undercurrent, by undercurrent I mean a river. The water doesn't run very fast on top, but underneath there's a big, huge effing current. Raila Odinga needs to think about and listen to the right voices. I think it's the right time. Raila Odinga listened to these people who are making noise. It's not a question of pain. Don't inflict pain, which is unnecessary. There's already enough pain from the national government. You see, this disease of demolition is also with the national government. And like I said, Raila has mentioned and said about it. So turning tables and twisting tongues when you are talking about Kisumu and demolition makes me wonder if, there's something wrong. So essentially, but what do you think? Do you think Raila Odinga is doing the right thing where he's supporting Anyang Nyongo and Abala Wanga and ignoring the bodabodas, the tuk-tuks, the matatus, the mamambogas? And by the way, even if you are doing the right thing, there's a way to talk to people. Abala Wanga doesn't have that way. Anyang Nyongo doesn't have that way. You have to explain to people and bring them along and tell them how the other way would benefit them and not just be rude and then expect to, Raila Odinga to come and, just support you. I don't think it's the right way to go. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you think Raila is doing the right thing? To go chasing tuk-tuks, bodabodas, matatus, mamambogas in town and do nothing? Demolish and build nothing. Let me know. Let me hear what you have to say. I would really, really, really appreciate. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to Talk to Africa.